your eyes and you close your nose, none of you will detect by the taste the difference between green apple and an onion. Any human beings. Human beings can taste only for taste, by the taste. When you cold, you lose the sense of smell, you don't lose the sense of taste. Human beings can taste only for taste. Sweetness at the front, that means if you take your time and you put it in salt, it's not going to be salty at all. Okay, we have only 4 different tastes. This is the only thing. What's unique about wine, if I may, and excuse me, what's unique about wine, that wine is the only beverage or only food in the world we let it, when you open it, you have to let it breathe. You will never use the word let it breathe to any other product. What that means, that most of people when taste something will say, I like it or I don't like it. Watch out when you do it to wine. This is why the reason why it's holy. Wine, it's a very holy thing in Judaism and definitely in Christianity. We have to let it breathe. When we age wine like amphora or makura, there will be tannin. We have to let it breathe and open. More than that, most of the time in complex wines, the smell will be of sulfite. And nobody likes sulfite. That's the reason we have to let it breathe. So one of the reasons we open a bottle of wine, we never serve it. First thing, we smell it. It will smell weird, a bit weird. Then we actually let it breathe a bit, and then we smell it again. And you always will see a difference, especially with aged wines, like in wood. Now, as you know, we got the fruit and we got the herb. Okay? Always the herbs will evaporate in the front because it's more light. So we have to wait until the fruit will come back. The first tasting, most of people who have first impression, it's very right when you have a Coke. It's very right when you have a beer. It's not right when you're having wine. First impression is very risky with wine. You have to wait and see the aftertaste in the long term of tasting. Let me say another thing. Most of people think that wine can age endlessly. No. 95% of all the wines of the world are ready to drink and like to drink only when they are 1 year old. They don't age. Only 3 to 4% of wine can age potentially more than 3 years. What will give potentially of the aging of wine, it's the tannin. Okay, that fresh fruit, fresh wood, and so on. That's the reason if you open the best bottle of wine of the world, potentially 20 years, and you open milk, the wine will get bad before the milk. Because it will get oxidized. And this is what's unique about wine. It's waiting, smelling, then tasting, and then smell it again. Just a little brief out of 10,000 years of history. Cheers, and I hope to see you in Israel, in the Holy Land, with a great taste of wine.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Fine.
No, I took yours.
Mustn't take my wine.
Yes, I always take all the wine.
It's okay if I put it back.
Always. We got more wine. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Chaim. Before we end, so if you have any questions or anything that you wanted to hear from us, please. This is the time.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Most Filipinos, we take ourselves as children also of Israel.
I'm sorry?
Most Filipinos, because we are mostly Christians,
Yes.
we take ourselves also as children of Israel.
Yes.
And my question really is, how come it's only now that you are promoting Israel wine?
Well, it takes time
Uh-huh.
to organize such an event. Effort, money, resources, and I have to say that it's also, I guess, like wine matures, we are also maturing. Okay, so until now we're focusing on technology, but now we're trying to promote again because of hopefully moving out of the war and understanding how important tourism is. And when we promote tourism, this is one of the aspects, as Peleg was talking before. Wine is part of the tourism and it's part of the promotion of Israel. So it comes together. I think that would be an explanation, and I want to say also that it is part of, from our point of view, of moving out of a, let's say, a crisis, hopefully moving out of a war, and looking to rebuilding, reopening, and rehosting many more tourists as we did until October 7, 2023. Okay? Yes.
Leon Rodriguez from Manila Bulletin. As Danica told me a while ago, this is the first major wine event launched by the embassy. For our readers, Ambassador, how do you introducing Israeli wine for a lot of Filipinos? It's something new for Filipinos. They haven't tasted it. How do you characterize Israeli wine, or how do you differentiate it from the characteristics of the other wines?
Yeah. What's the
Maybe
Israeli wine?
So I'll say
maybe,
something and I'll
yes,
ask Kai to
Matt.
say something
Yes.
in a minute, but I wanted to say one more thing. Why are we promoting now wine? I think it's also a question of the maturity of the Philippine market, which also, as you know, I was here in the 90s, I'm in Balikbayan, right? And in the 90s you didn't have so many good restaurants, so you didn't have this demand, and you didn't have this consumption of very, very high end, and it's not only very, very high end, but it's much more available today in the Philippines. Is the quality food, quality dining, and quality wine.
Yeah.
So it's also the Philippines that has matured, in my opinion. So it's time.
Yeah.
And why Israeli wine here? And I had discussions when we were planning this event, and it's obvious that we have competition here. And I think we cannot win in the low end of the wine, like the very wine from New Zealand, Australia, California, sort of the cheaper wine. We cannot compete because it's coming from very far. And what Israel can compete is really on the higher end of wine, and Israel has a lot to offer on the higher end. But Hani, do you want also to respond to this question?
Even though I said we have 10,000 years for history, let me challenge you and remind you that 76 years ago, most of my land was dunes of sand. We did a revolution in my country. We've been a poor country in the beginning. The last 30, 40 years we established a great country. We built a new country. We built a new houses, new villages, and a high-tech country. But it's not enough to produce only a great wine. The point is to have a DNA of wine, sir. We want to, somebody will taste a blind tasting our wine, say, this is an Israeli wine, not just kosher wine, not just to tell me this is international style, because today when we're having a French wine, or classic Bordeaux, or classic Rioja, or Chianti, or Piemonte, we can detect this Italian wine. It took us a decade. By the way, the French took them 400 years. The Italians still dealing with that. What we did the last 20 years, and this is the time we are ready, we found our DNA. We are a holy land. We are a hot country. So we use our weather to produce the best wines and grapes. That means that in our style, you will feel that we are a medium body, up to heavy body. That when you feel the fruits, you feel the age of the wood. We don't like it smoky like you can find in American wines, and that will be too green like Bordeaux wines or Loire Valley. I know it will take still time until we will polish our style, but we start the first phase that we are proud we have an Israeli style. And if I may, we are now in the Philippines, in this part of the world, because we admire this part of the world. We're doing great in North America. We have big Jewish community. We're doing great in France. We're doing great in Germany. It's fine. We need new parts. We want you guys. My little dream that a student in Manila will take his girlfriend to a date and say, let's have the Israeli butter wine. This is the little dream. And we will accomplish it by supporting you, by giving the information to the people, and people will taste the wine and appreciate Israeli wine because they are Israeli wine and they have a unique style.
Maybe, I always talk about I hope you all know my vision, right? Building bridges of innovation and technology between Israel and the Philippines. Everybody, I hope everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And what Chaim said, that's Israel. A country which was established in 1948. Deserts, not enough water, not enough soil, wars, all the challenges. And what is our way to do things and how to promote our economy is through innovation and technology. And the same was done in the wine industry, which developed in such a mature way in such a short time, because people are not only using the tradition, but are doing research and are using modern technologies and approaches in order to be there in the market very quick and in the quality that we want to be there, and creating a personality of the wine.
Definitely.
So
90% of the water in Israel is desalination. During the peace agreement with Jordan, we are a peace country. We did a peace agreement in Jordan. The part of the contract, we have to supply them water, but we didn't have enough water, so we started desalination. We can contribute in the world with the desalination, irrigation, and unique side of wines.
you know, today we're not talking about, we had the delegation on water, we had the delegation on agriculture, but you're right, I mean, this is what we do. It's all about innovation.
Ambassador,
Yes.